The Actor's Choice, where the actors have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting through actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Our first guest today are playwright Vincent Terell Durham, producer Aton J. Patton III, and actor William Warren. These gentlemen, along with other cast members, have put together a remarkable play called The Fertile River. The play is based on the sterilization programs of North Carolina called the eugenics movement. Gentlemen, I must tell you, when I first heard about the subject, where boys are castrated, girls are sterilized, because some folks think that they have the rights to solve various social problems related to poverty, disability, and illness, it sickened me. And I'm glad to have you guys come here today and take a few moments and just talk about it. Right. Vincent, let's start with you. Thank you so much for bringing this much-needed subject to our attention. You wrote it. Where'd you get the idea from, sir?
You know, I was watching television. I was watching Melissa Harris Perry.
Okay.
And she was doing a short segment on the Eugenics Board in North Carolina.
Okay.
And a reparations program that they offered, you know, for people who were victims. There was over 7,000 victims of eugenics in North Carolina. So I watched that program, and it clicked to me, what is the discussion you have before this happens to a person? You know, so that's the play for me. You know, what's the discussion you have to get someone to say, okay, you can sterilize my loved one, you can do this to them, you can take away their opportunity to ever have children again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we just happen to have a video of what you talked about. If you go ahead and roll that, sir, we get a chance to see what you saw.
So we drink suffering and piss triumph. We are burnt cork, grease paint, spread like chocolate bar slice of metal.
Okay, we had a little technical difficulty there. Actually, what you'll be able to see here is actually what was done. A news, Associated Press, I believe it was. Okay, you ready? Okay, here we go.
I had to have a child at the age of 14, and when I had my son, they went in to me. At the same time, they gave me a cesarean birth and took my child, and when they did that, they sterilized me. What do you think I'm worth? What do you think I'm worth?
Elaine Riddick was just 13 when a neighbor raped her. Then she endured what she refers to as her second rape. State officials declared Riddick feeble-minded and unfit to have children.
Main reason is because I was poor and I am black. I believe that with all of my heart.
Based on the pseudoscience of eugenics, more than 30 states passed laws allowing for the forced sterilization of so-called defectives. The goal was to rid society of certain undesirable traits.
Some of those traits that they named were epilepsy, feeble-mindedness, promiscuity, criminal mentalities.
Researchers believe that as many as 100,000 Americans were victimized. By the time North Carolina ended its own eugenics program in 1974, it had taken away the reproductive rights of 7,600 people. Most, like Riddick, were poor. Tony Riddick still lives close to his mother's hometown in the coastal plain. He says she doesn't come home often.
They used to call it Little Korea. Yeah, Little Korea. The reason why is because it was very violent, you know, coming up. She grew up in a very, very abusive home. My mother's life and my life, by any measure, would have been, should have been, could have been totally written off. But the fact of the matter is, God still prevails, and I'm grateful for that. Very, very grateful.
His mother would be grateful for justice. She drove from her adopted home in Georgia to testify before a North Carolina task force considering compensation for sterilization victims.
There's nothing that the state of North Carolina can do to justify what they did to me, what they did to these other victims.
You know, it's not my grandmother's fault that she was uneducated. It's not my mother's fault that she was abused by her husband. It wasn't my fault that my environment, that I was raised in, that I was brought up in this type of environment. I had nothing to do with that. I was a victim. God said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth in His image. You know? And I always tell everybody, how can you ever get to see the image of God when you're killing it off?
Riddick is tired of feeling like a victim, but she'll have to wait until next February to see if the Tar Heel state will give her and 2,000 other eugenics survivors justice. Alan Breed, Associated Press, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Ooh, Vincent, after seeing it, I can see why that would make you very upset.
It was, and the interesting thing about that video is that it only shows the one side of it. Mm-hmm. It shows the victim. It shows the end result. So what I wanted to show was the perpetrators. You know, there's a group of people who sat on a board and decided that this was a good program. You know, so that's what the play also explores. It's the people who initiated this program and said, you know, this is a good idea. This is going to benefit our country. So, yeah, so the play, you're going to see both sides. You're going to see what happens to the victims, and you're going to see the people who thought this was a good idea.
Do you feel in your heart of hearts that there's racism involved in this?
Most definitely, because eugenics started not really on a level playing field, but after the practice was considered, okay, we can't do this. This is not right. The practice still was done to poor people and people of color.
I mean, they had the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. I mean, does the government think they're God?
You would think so with these policies, definitely.
How does this play, set again in 1958, here we are in 2016, 58 years later, how do you see a comparison there?
Yeah, there's it's about policies.
Okay.
And there's a lot of policies that people think your condition dictates your character. Okay. You know, so with eugenics, if you were poor, they thought being poor made you act a certain way. So even today, there's war against the poor. You know, there's several states that have tried to initiate drug testing for people who receive welfare benefits. So that's telling you that we think people who are on welfare are more likely to use drugs. And there was actually, the state of Michigan actually had a policy, and they found 0 people using drugs on welfare.
Wow. Interesting title, The Fertile River.
Yeah.
How'd you pick that one?
You have to come see the play.
Okay.
Because the Fertile River, it's tied to the play. So yeah, if you come see the play, you're going to walk out and you're going to know what that title means.
And to your knowledge, what's the current status of this movement that's going on right now?
You know, as far as reparations in the state of North Carolina, they've made this fund available, but they haven't helped people get the fund. You have to go to the state of North Carolina and prove that you were a victim of eugenics. Now, the state of North Carolina, they already have this paperwork, so they can go out and find the victims, but they're letting the victims come find them. So they're still not being helpful.
Well, we're very happy and proud that you wrote this
piece of
material, man, because it's very much beautiful. Let's go on to Alton Patton, J. Patton III. He is the producer. Alton, how did you get involved in this project as the producer?
Unfortunately, I think Brother Vincent won't share with you that the depths of desperation clearly were at their height when he called me. So I'm being facetious, obviously. I'll work on my humor. By the end of our segment, I think I'll do a little better. But no, the way in which we came into contact was Vincent said, "Man, would you consider just taking a look at this piece? I just, I want to know what you think." And I knew immediately, as artists, as we all do, the great Quincy Jones, he refers to that thing that's special as the it factor.
Right.
And it's somewhat abstract, but we know it when we feel it. And this script, it drips of it, but it's not the it that is intended to entertain. It is intended to enlighten, empower, and serve as an educational supplement for not only our children, but for those who made it possible for us to be sitting in this studio today, broadcasting on your air, that why did not those who made today possible for us receive this as a part of one's formal education? So we, by design in 2016, the Fertile River allows us to connect the dots of what it looks like to be in a time and place where we have a black president who is nearing the end of his two-term tenure, and we are addressing notions of state and federal policy whereby the poor in this country, and disproportionately blacks, Latinos, Asians in this country, were sterilized and castrated as public policy. So all of this begs the question, first, how is that possible? It is possible by way of the personalities upon whom we focus to serve as our public officials, as opposed to policy first and somewhere down the priority list, personality. And so Brother Vincent's brilliance allows us to learn some of these things in this particular time that continue to touch us all today. But the story is told in a culturally relatable way, and it is a story where ultimately we empathize and see one another's humanity, regardless of one's cultural background. He, in a brilliant fashion, takes our cultural aesthetic and allows anyone who sees the piece to see themselves. Consider someone in their family tree that could have been described as slow, in yesteryear referred to as mentally retarded. As we saw in the opening piece, feeble-minded, those who were deaf, so-called dumb, or blind. They were all eligible, whether by choice or not by choice, to receive a visit by the eugenics board and be gone for a few days. And when they come back, their humanity essentially having been stripped from them.
Yes.
So my one of the reasons why, when you initially asked me how did I become a part of the piece, the reason why I was facetious and being silly at first is because we all know there's absolutely nothing funny about neutering someone's humanity. This is not the end of a Bob Barker production where his sign-off every day before he retired used to be, make sure you get your pet spayed and neutered. That we are able to connect the dots just before we enter the next presidential election, where, well, exactly what is possible when we consider who might be elected next. What's possible in terms of the policies that will be reflective of those who run? What is possible? And the Fertile River, in a brilliant, eloquent way, brings home what is possible with every choice that we make regarding anyone who's supposed to serve on our behalf in public office.
Okay. Taking on a play like this, you need money.
Yes, sir.
How about difficulties you're having in getting that money?
Yes, sir. We were privileged to be really, really supported from quite a few people around the country in an effective Indiegogo campaign.
Okay.
And that's what made this production possible. The Acme Theater Hollywood on 135 North La Brea here in LA, wherever you are around the globe watching this broadcast, we encourage you, if you can make it, to come to LA and see us. The Acme Theater Hollywood is a great, intimate theater that will really allow this piece to come to life and the magic of the piece to really move the way that it needs to.
When can we expect the play to open?
October the 14th is our opening night. It's a 3-night LA premiere showcase. And we're excited. We've got Friday, Saturday evening, 7:30 p.m. curtain call, and then on Sunday we have a matinee. And so the cool thing about the matinee is that after the show there'll be a Q&A and a talk back with all the actors, of course, Brother Vincent. Our brilliant director, Elizabeth Bell Haynes, will participate in that. And then we'll also be unveiling a work of art from one of the nation's most talented up-and-coming visual artists, brother by the name of Andre Rochester, who he will start to create the piece of work on opening night. Saturday night, he will continue the work, and then those who attend the matinee on Sunday, he will complete the work on Sunday, and it'll be unveiled at the Q&A.
Now, do you have any plans to take this play on tour?
That ultimately is a part of our big vision. As is no surprise to everyone watching us today, you always have to start somewhere. So at this stage for us, this is almost to the day 1 year after the initial reading. And for us, the way we staged the reading was the only thing different from a full production was that we weren't in a bigger house and we didn't have an elaborate set design. But we gave birth to the piece a year ago. We strategically planned it that way. And so now, a year later, this premiere represents a lot of growth for us, and so the notion of a tour is a part of that growth process.
Would that tour include North Carolina as well?
Undoubtedly, and in fairness to anyone for whom the eugenics movement is something new, something fresh, that for everyone in North Carolina, by no means, by virtue of our story being set in 1958 rural North Carolina, are we suggesting that North Carolina is the only state that had what is being referred to as a eugenics movement. That there were 32 states involved in eugenics, and ironically, the connection between North Carolina and California is such that California is responsible for having committed the highest number of these sterilizations and castrations. And so out of the 32 states, California would be ranked at the top of the list for those responsible for the impact of eugenics on the nation.
Okay. Need a plug from you guys.
Yes, sir.
Who, what, where, when, and why? When's the play going to be here? What time, location, and how much are the tickets?
And Mr. Brewington, I don't know if you caught this, or if Brother LeRon here, the great technical talent, Brother Vincent gave me the mean mug, so I pass this to you, sir. I pass this to you.
I don't even know what you're talking about. The mean mug.
The fertileriver.com is a place where you can go for more information. Brother Vincent would have me also add that all of the ticket information is available there.
Okay.
We have $30 and $25 tickets that are available, and it's all contingent upon when one purchases.
Okay.
And so again, those dates: Friday, October the 14th, Saturday, October 15th, and Sunday, October 16th. And remember, Sunday is our matinee day. It's 2 p.m. on Sunday. Question and answer. Brother Andre Rochester is going to reveal his original work of art representing the Fertile River, and we're excited. And I think, Mr. Brewington, because I have over-talked that the illustrious cast, we have one cast member that's here. If I hand over the baton to the great William Warren, will you hold that against me, man?
No, I won't. No, I won't. Mr. Alton, you are too much. Too much.
Yes, he is.
Our next guest, of course, is William Warren, the actor. William, please tell us about you and how you got into acting.
Well, I think I have pretty much loved acting all my life. I got a chance to see William Marshall play Othello at the age of 11. And it had an impact on me. And I didn't know how much I loved it then, but I started pursuing being on the stage, and it's kind of consumed me. I've been away for about 30-so years. But this second part of my journey has been extremely rich.
Now, you play the role of Jesse Lee Johnson.
Yes.
Tell us about it, please.
Well, first of all, Jesse Lee Johnson's a bad man. Not so in the speak that he's bad, but he is a strong man. Okay. He's a man who stood up for his rights, stood up for himself, and believed in what was right. And of course, during that period of time, there were repercussions that would always take place, because a man of that stature wasn't expected to be able to hold his head high, speak his mind. And so because of that, he had to be a fighter. And also because of that, he got beat down a lot.
Oh, okay.
And so it's been the play shows his growth, I believe, as well, to the very end.
Okay.
Yeah.
As an actor, when you step on that stage and you play this role, how do you get into character to play this role?
Well, I would first look at the similarities between what I have in myself and how I can relate to the role. Also, I'm going to tap into my life lessons, and with me being of my age, I have quite a few life lessons that I could tap into. So that has helped me.
Okay.
Yes.
We happen to have just a short cut of a play that you guys were doing as you're doing the reading. We'd like to take a look at that, please.
Okay.
So we drink suffering and piss triumph. We are burnt cork, grease paint, spread like chocolate bar, slice of lemon rind. That why we be melanin. The Uzi Empire, pigmented to the third power, the antithesis of hell. We are North Carolina, a dream deferred in 1958, and they send us to the kitchen when company comes. We be Watts, conceptions and misconceptions. Harlem Renaissance movement, blues people, Negro music in white America. We are the soul of black folks. We are the sage of Anacostia. We are a genius child, busy with our oysters knife, doctorate tumors cut by Cain. We be black magic. We be word sorcerers. 360 degrees of blackness coming at you. Black feeling, black thought, black talk, creation, all of our houses, the women and the men. Cotton candy on a rainy North Carolina day, and those who ride the night's wind.
Wow. That's hot.
Yes.
There's a lot of emotions that's going to come out of this play.
Yes, there are.
And you guys and girls bring it to the audience.
Yes.
Who are some of your fellow actors in the program with you?
Well, we have Sola.
Sola Bamas.
Okay.
Who plays River. And they're just a great cast, a great group of cast, and we fell in love with each other during this production, and so I'm really looking forward to the opportunity where we're going to take this production to the next level.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's I believe that there's a lot that's going to be learned from this, and from a cast member as well as the audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
For you as an actor, this is definitely going to be a memorable role.
Yes, it is. Yes. In my research for this role, and once I was brought on, I didn't know a whole lot about eugenics, very surfacey. But I started doing my research, and then I was astonished by what I learned. I'm from Indiana originally. Come to find out that Indiana was the first state to bring eugenics to America.
Really?
Yes. And then here that California, where I live now, had a very prominent part in that movement. I even had a family member that I've learned in the process of this research of mine, who was actually a victim, and a family member who ended up with a hysterectomy without there being consent. And so, you know, it reaches very close to home for me.
Exactly what is your desire for the audience to walk away from this play with?
A history lesson. And to understand and to see that black families through the years that we have, you know, faced many adversities, but the common factor that allows us to constantly be victorious in those is our family love, and our love for each other, and how we pull together when these situations arise. And that is something that you're going to see that happens in the Fertile River.
Okay. I just want to go back to Alton for just a second.
Sure.
There are three parts to the play, I take it. And you see, if you miss one, what if you miss the first day and you don't come, you know, what about the second and third day?
If you come on any of those days, you will get the full experience.
Okay.
It's just Brother Rochester's contribution to the piece is something that starts on Friday, and each audience gets a piece of his creation, and anyone who's there on Sunday actually gets to see the culmination of what he's created. Sir, may we
please
just ask your indulgence? We wanted to acknowledge the rest of the cast. Brother Warren, he mentioned the great Solabamis, who, as we speak, is returning to the U.S. from Nigeria. So, Sola, we love you. We miss you. And we also have Baja Lynn Odoms, who is our choralee, and she is receiving the baton from the great Thelma Hopkins, who originated the role. So for those of you who the name may sound familiar, Tony Orlando and Dawn, it's that Thelma Hopkins. And we owe a debt of gratitude to Miss Hopkins because throughout the breadth of her career, which spans decades, and someone who deserves a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for both music and her work in television and film, as a side note, that this was the first dramatic role in the history of her career.
Really?
So, as you know, with your background with Motown and the like, she started at the age of 14 as a background singer and transitioned through Tony Orlando and Dawn here in Hollywood to learning the craft of acting through comedy and developed chops, and her dramatic chops were given birth to last year. So we will always owe a debt of gratitude to her for originating Coralie. Nikki McCauley is the actress who will play Miss Sarah. And we have a young actor who we refer to affectionately as a special effect, 8-year-old Van Brunel, who is an extraordinary actor. And so that rounds out our cast, all of whom are phenomenal. And we, again, Elizabeth Bell Haynes will serve as our director. The great Nancy Davis Bellamy was our original director for the staged reading from Town Street Theater. So we will always have a debt of gratitude to her. And finally, we just want to thank all of the Indiegogo campaign supporters who might be watching today. And Brother Food for Thought, the spoken word artist who we so eloquently heard in the piece of the clip that we ran. So he will be lending his talents again to this LA premiere. So it's something to which we can look forward. And gentlemen, with your permission, I think we have a gift for Mr. Brewington. So here is one.
Oh my goodness!
Shirt there.
I'm gonna be wearing. I teach at a college here in town.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna be wearing this shirt tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm wearing this tonight.
And
so you can say, what is that?
And this one, as our time is limited, the great Flame Monroe is on standby. 2 tickets to the LA Phil Jazz Black Movie Soundtrack 2 at the Hollywood Bowl.
All right.
That is going to be off the Heezy.
Yeah.
So, sir, we proudly present those to you.
And I'll make sure that she gets them. I'll make sure she gets them for sure.
Thank you so much for the privilege.
I wish we had more
honor.
time. There's so much that we could say about this.
Yes, sir.
Again, Vincent Terell Durham, thank you very much.
Yes.
Brother William, thank you very much. Brother Alton, thank you very much, sir. Thank you all very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're going to see me in the audience, down front wearing my shirt.
Yes, all right.
Again, thank you all very much, sir.
Our
Thank you so much.
privilege. Thank you,
God
sir.
bless you for what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Our next guest is a comedian and drag queen performer. She's well known by her drag persona and is a bisexual, self-identified transgender person. Here today to discuss her relationships, family, prison, new career direction, appearance on the hit show Botched, and she's got other things that she'd like to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Flame Monroe. Flame, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Ryan.
And I want to thank your publicist. She is my longtime friend.
She is a great lady.
As I call it, Miss Busby. Definitely.
Busby.
She always makes sure that
Cynthia.
things... Cynthia Busby. She's done a great job, but thank you so much. First of all, what made you decide to become a comedian and drag queen performer?
Oh, my God. I stumbled into this. No, as a child, I was always wanted to entertain it.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't sing. I couldn't dance. But I liked to perform. I liked to be in front of people. And I never knew I was funny.
Wow.
So I did drag for the first time as a fluke at the age of 19.
Mm-hmm.
This is about 30 years later. I'm stuck. And as a comedian, I hosted drag shows successfully in the city of Chicago because I'm from Chicago. For 17 years, I was the queen of the city. And I did the radio, I did a few TV spots, but I did comedy for the first time as a joke. Some friends took us to a comedy club, and they was like, you should go up. I'm like, I am not going up there. I'm terrified. And one of the guys on the stage, they heckled me, and I was always quick. So I went up, and a star was born.
How funny are you?
Exceptionally funny.
Make me laugh.
I'm just looking at my smile should make you smile.
Good enough. Did it well. So when did you actually start your career?
My comedy career?
Yes, your comedy career.
I started my comedy career in 92.
In 92.
Funniest story about me starting my comedy career. When we went to the comedy club, I was on house arrest.
Okay.
And I had my anklet on my leg.
Ooh.
And went on stage with my house arrest anklet on.
That's bold.
I'm a bold girl. And I shook the room. And nobody believed that it was true, but I really did have my anklet on. So, I'm telling you, I was able to get out and live my life on house arrest. I had so many privileges that nobody would ever understand.
Wow.
I'm a blessed girl.
I see. Now, you grew up in Chicago.
Grew up in Chicago.
How many siblings did you have?
I have 2 brothers.
2 brothers, okay. How about the family life that you had for you at that time?
Here.
In Chicago.
My baby brother, my youngest brother, because I'm the oldest of 2 other brothers, is my baby. He was my baby for the first 2 years because my mom was doing her thing. We were project poor. She was on drugs. It was like that. So, there's even no shame in that. And she's been clean now for over 20 years. But my brother that's up under me, that's 4 years younger than me, I was his protector. I was his guard. I was his big brother. And now he refuses. He does not like the gay stuff. He does not like the trans. He loves me as his brother, and he will not call me Flame or any of that. I am his big brother, and that's what he calls me, his big brother. To everybody. I can be looking like this at a major network on a show. This is my brother right here. That's my brother Mark. And I can't change him, and I don't try to.
I understand.
And this is our relationship, and he loves me.
Right.
When he's going through his drama, he calls me for advice. When my baby brother calls me, I'm his mom, actually, but he calls me his brother, too, his big brother. But not publicly. He will at least call me Flame. That other one.
As they say, blood is thicker than water.
Ooh, it must be real thick.
Now, I understand that you explored your gender at an early age when growing up in the projects. Can you take it from there?
Well, growing up in the projects in the 70s was much different from now. We didn't have to worry about the crime of murder and shooting because it was a great place to grow up as a kid. We were safe. Other parents looked out for other people's children. But you learn fast living in the projects because going up the hallway, you would catch people having sex or you would see things that you weren't supposed to be exposed to at 10 or 11, and I was. And I lost my virginity to a brother and sister a week apart. To her first, and then a week later to her brother. Not on purpose. I can't even make this up. And she didn't know. He knew. And this was 13, 12, 13, something like that.
Yes.
But we all remained friends for the longest time. But I got out the project as soon as I could. I used to fight all the time.
Yes.
And our word was Sissy. Everybody called me Sissy Marcus. You see the bruises on my wrist? I fought good too.
In the projects, you do that. In the project. I grew up in the projects in New York City, in Harlem.
Oh my God!
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, at least we weren't in Cabrini Greens. We were in Henry Horner on the west side, and then my mom moved, chasing the man. We moved to the south side to I.B. Wells.
Now, you also, I understand, were molested as a child.
I was molested by an uncle.
Okay.
Which made me a very overprotective parent. I would not leave my children with anyone until they could speak and tell me exactly what was going on. And this was an uncle that, if you trusted. It's a family member. You trust, and this is the misconception to me with people being molested by family members. Right. That it's always somebody that you trust, and the uncle that you liked, and the uncle that was friendly to you and rubbed your back and gave you the best gifts at Christmas. But he would have one hand on the ham and one hand on my ass. So, oops, bleep. And it was just, and then I was afraid. I thought I did something wrong. I didn't know. We were 7 years old. Right. He didn't actually penetrate me, but the whole touching and the other things that he did, and so I didn't tell my mom because I thought I did something wrong. And so it was me and a friend. And the friend, he penetrated the friend, and the friend's parents found out. And it was just a big hoopla. We actually had to move and everything. The uncle ended up getting murdered by somebody else.
It's amazing because in today's world, the most popular three-letter word in the world today is sex.
Well, what the bad part is that when my mom found out, she beat me. I don't know if she beat me for not telling her or if she beat me for finding out from somebody else, but she beat me like I did something wrong. So for a long time, I carried that guilt for a very long, all the way into my adulthood.
Wow. It's like I said, it's God gave us that for procreation. We do it for something else.
Well, another problem I think that people have in the black community, and I'm going to say the black community because this is what I know. I don't know the other side. I know this community because I'm a black man in this community. What I know is that if you don't teach your children to speak to you and not speak around you, talk to me. Tell me exactly what. If you could be sitting right here and if you hurt my child will tell me and I will shoot you. My child know this. I'm not saying that I would shoot you, Ron, but my children know that I am their protector. That you tell me right here, right in front of them, there's no shame because I'm going to believe you first. Then I'm going to hear that side of the story. And that's just, I'm telling you, being molested at a young age by a family member made me so overprotective that it was protective to a fault, which is why I stood back on my comedy career or my whole career to raise my children to where they can tell me anything now. So now I'm back at it, and I'm back at it like a train with no brakes.
No brakes.
No
you
brakes.
got 3 children, don't you?
3 children. 2 13-year-olds and a 9-year-old.
So you're a drag at night and a dad in the daytime.
AM dad, PM drag. That's the reality show we're trying to get signed by Evolution. So talk about it, Ron. Talk about it.
It sounds interesting.
It is extremely interesting.
Yes.
It is extremely interesting because my children know exactly who I am. This was not thrust upon them 4 years in the line. This is who I was when they got here. When they were conceived, this is exactly who I was. I was a little freer though, and a lot younger. But this is who they were. So they always knew, and I never sugarcoated. And I have a son, and my biggest fear was having a son that would emulate me, that would turn out to be gay or want to be in drag. Nothing could be further from the truth. He is a boy on every aspect, and I pat myself on the back for that because I am proud of that. I did not want a gay son. I know that sounds terrible to say, but I did not. That was drama. He is just a little man and a gentleman and exceptionally smart, problem solver, respects me as his parent. I'm not going to say as his dad, but as his parent. And will tell anybody, that's my dad. We were in the grocery store just before we got here to get you a bottle of wine, right? And my daughter called me dad in the grocery store, and the lady at the cash register stopped and said, "Huh?" Oh, it tickled me to death. I was like, "Yep, I'm dad." So my kids know who I am, and this was not, like the Caitlyn Jenner thing. She had to come out 30 years down the line. These children know who I am. I never change because I'm not going to ask them to change for me. Whatever life you choose or chooses you, and you live it, you're still my child. I'm going to roll with you.
Right.
Make me proud, but I'm going to roll with you.
Right. Now, you left Chicago in 2005.
2005.
Okay. You spent many years in Chicago in the drag scene over there.
Yes.
And were very popular, well known.
Extremely.
When I mentioned your name, when she told me about your name, and I've heard that name before. certain names like yours, RuPaul, you hear that name.
Yes.
Caitlin, you hear that name.
Yes.
In fact, a good thing for the movement would be at this year's Olympic Games, a transgender from South Africa won the 800 meters.
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
So I'm going to get jumped on by the gay community. So here we go.
Here we go.
A man, I don't care what gender identity he thinks in his mind that he is, cannot compete with a woman. That's still a man. I got a whole lot of add-ons. I didn't take anything away. It's still a man. I don't think that that's fair. Create a whole transgender thing in the Olympics if that's what you want to do. But you're not going to tell me that a male boxer that transgendered to a female and fighting a biological female, that is fair. I don't care. It's not fair. So if the LGBTQ community had a problem with me, come and see me. I can handle it. I don't think it's fair, Ron. Honestly, I just don't.
I hate to say it, but I agree with you in many ways.
A lot of people do, but so many people are afraid to say how they feel because everything is now labels and words, or you shouldn't say this, or you're politically incorrect. I'm a comedian. When it becomes detrimental for me to not say how I feel, I'm going to get out the game.
As a transgender, what is it that you ask the most out of society?
Just to respect me as a person. Because I don't carry that title to say, oh, I'm transgender, I'm drag queen, I'm dad, I'm mom. I'm a black man living in America, just like everybody else. I just happen to be a pretty one.
One for you.
But you know, as other black men like yourself, or just regular heterosexual black men, would have a problem with me saying that I'm a black man because they feel like I am demising the black man as a whole because of the stereotype. This life didn't choose me. Right. Well, I'm sorry, this life did choose me. I didn't choose this life. This is who I am internally. Right. And I identify with me because I am very attracted to very masculine women and very masculine men. I have no qualms about what I like. I like what I like. I'm 51 years old. I'm going to do what I want to do. Right. And if you don't like it, in the words of Ludacris, move, B, get out the way. That's it.
Tough stuff.
I live a very unapologetic life. Right. I'm protective of my children. I'm very professional when I go to work. I look good. I always smell good. I'm entertaining. And people love what I do for them while I'm on stage. When the show is over, so am I.
Right. Are more and more people opening up to you as a member of the LGBT community?
Oh, my God. Especially in the comedy world, yes. Because the first 10 years that I did stand-up, and I worked with everyone from Cheryl Underwood to Kevin Hart to Nick Cannon, the male comedians, the black male comedians. Let me make sure I make this clear and very clear. The black male comedians always had an issue with me. We would be on the same huge show, and we would sit in the green room, and they wouldn't even speak to me. They wouldn't even say words, hello, anything. So for me to go out to the stage and rock the room and get a standing ovation or have the people screaming, and then I come in the green room and I can't even get a high five from my constituent, I can't even get no love because you're afraid that if somebody see you speaking to me, they're going to think you're attracted to me. I'm gay, not blind. I have a type. If you're not attractive and you can't do nothing for me, no way, I don't want you. A woman can have you 2 times because I don't want you. But that's not what the case. But now it has come around because they saw that I wasn't going anywhere. I was going to be here. But there were some warriors. I must say, in the defense of Evan Lionel or Corey Holcomb from Chicago, it never mattered who was around. Raymond Lambert, who owned All Jokes Aside way back in the day, it never mattered. He booked me. He didn't care what anyone thought or said because I was he saw me as a talent, and which is what I want. Just see my talent. Don't worry about the life that I live. It has no effect on you. No comedian can ever say that I pushed up on them because that's not my get down. I can tell you how many eyes been winked at me though. We're gonna say that for the book.
The book.
We're gonna say that for the book.
When's it coming?
I don't know yet. I ain't finished that. I got to get a couple of more chapters out. Okay. I got some good chapters though, Ron.
I'm sure you do.
Some good names to drop. Good God, I would never tell the names. I like my neck on my shoulders.
Why did you choose the name Flame?
Because when I was in high school, and everyone asked me that, I used to dye my hair flame red, which was Miss Clairol 33R. So I said, you know what? It's appropriate. I've always been a redhead. Red hair has just always been my thing. I'm not even attracted to redhead men or women, but I like red hair.
You like red. Because red makes green.
Well, you see I wore my green earrings. Green means prosperity, money, longevity. I'm all of those things.
Exactly.
I got a great publicist now. It's on.
Yes, you
the
do have a
train
great
has
publicist.
left the station.
She's a lady. She's a conductor.
She's definitely a conductor.
Definitely. As you know, last year when he did his State of the Union address, President Obama mentioned for the first time in a major speech the word transgender. What's your reaction, ma'am?
I thought it was great. I can't say that it had much bearing on my life because I don't pigeonhole myself to just say that I'm transgender. I'm telling you, Ron, the labels and these titles is killing the world because everybody is so sensitive about a word. Oh my God, it seems like we're going backwards as opposed to going forward. I do appreciate what President, I always give him his respect, what President Obama has done for the country and for the transgender, and mentioning so many different things with Obamacare and everything that he has done for the world. But just like people say, well, what about Caitlyn Jenner? Is she your advocate? No, she is not. She is not a spokesperson for me. That was a microwave tranny that became a transsexual in 20 minutes. It took me 20 years to become who I am and to accept who I am. She has notoriety, money, and publicity, but she doesn't speak for me. And I thought the ESPYs were fools for giving her a Courage Award. I just did not believe that that was courage. But that mother whose son was murdered in Indiana or North Carolina on the porch, who was a football star, she should have got the Courage Award because when she spoke, I teared up.
Gotcha.
Caitlyn Jenner, and she did expose the world to the transgender community, but at the same time, she pulled the plate up on this and told us that she was a Republican. The Republicans don't want your ass. That's just real talk. They don't want you.
They don't want you, right.
You're going to be right on that wall next to Sarah Palin and Donald Trump when they run the train through, because the Mexicans are going to drive the train, and I'm going to be the conductor selling tickets.
All right.
Yeah, I am a Democrat, and I am with her. And do I agree with everything that Hillary Clinton says? No, I do not. But if all we have is Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, I'm rolling with Hillary Clinton.
Have you ever met Caitlyn?
No.
Would you, if you ever get a chance to meet her, what would you say to her?
Hi, how are you? And keep it moving.
All right.
That's about it.
Okay.
I'm going to respect her for who she is, but not for what she does, because it has no bearing on me. Her story is not my story. Her story will never be my story.
Gotcha. Flame, you've done a lot of work in a lot of venues. We have a little short tape we'd like to share about
the
work that
no.
you've done.
Is it G-rated?
Spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. I grew strong and I learned how to get along. And so yeah, from upstairs, I hear that look on the face. To me, just for a second.
Excellent. Excellent.
I thought you had me doing stand-up, Ron. We don't do drag shows. I had to do that to pay the bills while my children were young because I had to get away from my comedy career because, I taped Comic View in 2004 and 2005. Okay. In 2005, I taped Comic View with the host Cheryl Underwood. Mm-hmm. She and I went at each other on BET real bad.
We heard about that.
It was the highest rating Comic View that they ever had in the history of Comic View. Right. And you can't even find it anymore. And when that happened, my phone rang diligently. My comedy career was taking off, but at that same time, me and my kids' mom separated, and I got the kids, and my heart was broken. My spirit was broken. My everything. I was displaced all over. I had to find me, and it took 10 years to find me. But I was depressed. I couldn't even get in that hole that we need to get in and ball up in that knot because I had 3 little kids. I had a 3-month-old baby. She left when my baby was 3 months old. So I had to change a bottle, change a pamper, take somebody to school, take somebody to class. I couldn't even have time for me. So for 10 years, it didn't take 10 years. It took about 7.5 for real years because I kept slipping back. When it's good, it's good. Okay. And why is it that the craziest women have the best sex? Oh my God! I wish somebody would just come up with an answer for that. I mean, she was 5150 all day long, but oh my God, she would put me on the wall and throw darts at me and turn me out. So, but it just took a long time in my healing process. I didn't want to do stand up, and I was on stage. Michael Collier, who I have a great respect for as a comedian, pulled me to the side one day and said, "Flame, you're so angry." Because I always had a great personality on stage. I would laugh and smile. And he said, "You seem so angry." And for him to say that to me and didn't even know me as a person, he knew who I was as a comedian. It made me step back because I knew that I was angry and I needed to heal. And he said, "Paint that picture, Paint a picture so that they can see what you see." Because we have the same material. We all talk about sex, relationships, money, drugs, whatever. Mm-hmm. But you have to see my world through my eyes. So I have to bring you inside of me for those 10, 12, 15, 20 minutes and let you see what I see and how I see it.
Gotcha.
He taught me that. And I'm telling you, that made me a great comedian. Thank you, Michael Collier, for that.
Got you. Talk about, if you will, the support that you get from your family, especially and your friends.
I got a great support system. I got friends that I've had for 30, 40 years. I got the same, and I have a very small circle. I'm a Cancer. So I'm very non-trusting, first of all. And once I got you, I got you. That's the problem with Cancer. We forget to let you go. I can name 6 friends that I have that has been in my life for over 30 years. Those are my people. Those are the people I talk to and I lean on. My biggest support is my children. My children is everything to me. My children are everything to me, and I hope that I'm everything for them. Because everything goes around my children. I have 2 13-year-olds and a 9-year-old. Yes. 2 13-year-olds, they're not twins. They're 7 months apart. Nope. 2 different baby mamas, both named Tasha. Oh, yeah, I'm that black man. That's a joke, but it's the truth.
It's the truth, okay.
And both, I'm like, I must have a thing for Tasha's. Both ghetto as all get out. But those 2 women gave me the greatest joys in my life because they gave me my children. One, we was just kicking it, and the other one I was in love with. And the one I was in love with, oh my God, that was my 2 daughters' moms. Yes. I see her face every day with my daughter who I brought with me. I see her face every single day. But we're here. I have to protect my children. Yes. My job is to take care of my children. Yes. And I don't want, how a lot of black men want to be commended on the back and they want to pat on the back. I signed up for this. They didn't ask to come here. They said the story that your children choose you from heaven. If they chose me, I say, ooh, y'all made a mistake. But I don't want you to pat on the back to say I'm a black man, I'm taking care of my kids. That's your responsibility, your obligation. Yeah. I'm not looking for a pat on the back. And I have worked at a club for years, at the tape you just showed, making bootleg money, but I was the star of the show for years. And I took a lot of their foolishness just because I would make $700 or $800 in tips in 2 hours. Wow. And I had to take care of my children. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I could live less than my means. We live in Belmont Shores in Long Beach. My name is Joan Goldman in my neighborhood. I'm a Jewish woman on the other side that no one knows about. But
After today, they're going to know about it.
Well, yes, but I could live in North Long Beach. Yes. And I could have my children in schools that will not be accredited and do everything I do, every choice I make as far as my children, I think about their future. Yes. With the state of what the world is in right now, for black men and black people, and especially our black children, I think about my children. When I'm not here, You should hear me drilling it in their head. You better get the best education you can. You got one chance, and I can't put you in private school. I don't have that kind of money yet. I stepped back to take care of y'all. But had I not stepped back, I had plenty of money. But then they might have got raised by somebody else.
That's another story. That's another
story. That's in the book.
Can't wait. When do you think the book's going to come out again?
I don't know. We got to get this comedy career rebuilt back up because to date, I think that I am the only transgender stand-up comedian that works in the urban arena. Because there are other drag queen comedians, but they work in gay clubs. I don't think that I'm funny in gay clubs because I talk about relationships with men and women. I talk about my children. Nobody for years believed that I had children. It's hard for me to stand on stage if you don't know me and say, me and my son was having this talk about masturbation and I'm looking like this and you're like, you ain't got no son because, naturally you would think that I'm only attracted to men.
If you had to do it all over again, would you do it?
Of course. Yes. Without question. If I could change anything from my past, I wouldn't change anything. It made me such a strong person today, even going to prison, because that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
Yes, I was going to wait on you to get around to it.
We have time.
I was Bonnie and Clyde at the same time. I was rolled up in one. I used to rob banks way back when I was a young girl. I'm telling you, I was a beast. If they had a She-Hulk, this is the face that you would see. And so I never got caught. I was slick as a wet rat on the oil field. But I had a boyfriend that was jealous of me and maniac crazy and cuckoo. So he turned me in, and I got sentenced to 3.5 years. This is all true. To a men's facility. Mind you, I'm 24 years old. My natural hair is fire engine red to my shoulders. I'm young skin, brand new breast implants because I just got my first set of breast implants in Tijuana, Mexico. 24-inch waist, great big old rump. And you put light skin, high yellow. Ooh, because coming here didn't brown me up. But in Chicago, I look like a lemon. And you sent me to a men's penitentiary? Oh, my God, let's go. I'm saying that, but it was a horrific experience for me thinking about it when I first went. But when I got to the prison, the men were, because they didn't have a place for trainees. Now I go, they got a whole wing for girls like me. But back in 91, it was like, okay, come on. And so they lost their minds. I incited 3 riots. The warden came and found me. He said, are you Parker, B53684? You never forget your institution number, but you can't find it on the internet. Thank you, Jesus. I said, I am. He said, bitch, you coming out of my prison. Those were his exact words to me. 2 days later, I was at home. I did 11.5 months on house arrest. There was no place for me. And because all of my uncles were gangsters and stones and beasts, I had a mouthpiece. I knew how to talk, and I was never afraid to fight and defend myself. But it was not an experience. And now it's privatized, so I wouldn't even, I don't have a day for the state. Because then I could just pick up the phone. I could go to the store. I had $30,000 in my house. I had $4,000 on the books. I didn't want for anything, but the experience of it all was terrible. But going to the men's penitentiary, let me tell you something about the men's penitentiary, because I'm sure you have never been around.
No, I visited.
The day I got there, I was so terrified, and so they make you shower. So I took a shower. When I came out the shower, my bed was covered with cookies, donuts, Magic Shave, anything you thought, just oodles of noodles, chili, because the men just lost it. So in my head, I'm thinking to myself, this is crazy. But when I knew the power that I had, I took the power.
Yes.
And I took the power and ran with it, Ron, because they tried to put me in a medical. They said, we can put you in medical to protect you. I'm like, protect me? These fools treat me like I'm Diana Ross and Lady Sings the Blues. The men love me. The women love me. They all. And when the warden knew that I knew the power that I had, he got me out.
Gotcha.
I don't know what he did, but I thank him to this day. Because for 3.5 years, I got put out in 48 days. I went right back to see that judge, too. She was a little racist. Yeah, she was very with the times now. She's no longer with us. She was hitting the head with a garage door open on a free accident in Florida. 3.5 years later, I had absolutely nothing to do with it. I swear I didn't. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Stick to it. What does the future hold for you? What do you see?
I am definitely trying to get back on my comedy grind. I definitely want an HBO special. I was on the verge of getting one, but I was so displaced with my love life because that love is... Ooh, that's the most powerful drug in the world. Good God, that love will break you. I was so broken from this woman. And I've never loved anyone like I love this woman. Ever. Not no man. And I've had plenty of boyfriends. So I never loved nobody like I love this woman. But my children. But it's a different type of love.
Gotcha.
And I want to give me an HBO special. I want to get back on my comedy career. And I want to open my barbershop. My dream is to open a barbershop called Cutters. I got the name already lined up and everything. It's for lesbians because I take my son to the barbershop. And this is something that I learned from being a good dad. A lot of very masculine lesbians, when they go to the barbershop, the men push up on them because men think that once I put it on you one time, you'll never want another woman. Right. Lesbian is not about intercourse, it's about intimacy. But men don't always want to hold you afterwards. They want to hit and run.
Gotcha.
So they feel very uncomfortable going. And there is a huge market alone in the state of California for lesbians who have short hair like yours, Ron, who get it lined up and edged up and will spend $30 a pop. So I'm trying to get my barber. I got one backer from Evolution TV right now.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to get my barbershop open for lesbian women.
I hate to do this to you, but we've run out of time.
That's okay.
But before we go,
I haven't melted yet.
Okay.
You got a gift for me.
I thought I'd give this to you.
I feel like Billie Holiday for real. Thank you, and I brought a gift for you, dear.
Oh my goodness.
I want you to drink that because the more you drink, the prettier I look.
Flame Malone, thank you.
Well,
very,
I want you to
very much.
let me tell your listeners where they can see me now. I work at Pally House Hotel on Sunday brunch on West Hollywood. It's on Holloway and La Cienega. Every Sunday. It's a one-woman show. It's all about me.
All right.
So come and see me.
Check it out.
I'm the pretty one.
All right. Thank you, Flame. Thank you very much. I want to thank Vincent Terell Durham, Aton J. Patton III, William Warren, and of course we can't forget the publicists. Cannot forget publicists.
My baby.
Cynthia Busby. And thank Flame Malone. And guess what? We'll see you next time.